So, but tell me about your experience. You were starting to tell me earlier. Tell me about your tapping success story.
Well, I think I have a lot of success stories, but I think the biggest one that's most obvious in my life is my last relationship was about 9 years ago. I separated, was married to a guy who was a complete narcissist. And yeah, I think it affected me very deeply on every level of my being. And for 8 years beyond that, I never even dated, had no desire to even look at relationships, no nothing. Like I just didn't even go on dates. And I had done quite a bit of tapping on my own, but just was finding I wasn't being extremely consistent with it. So I decided one day that I wanted things to change in my life, like a lot of things, not just that, but many things. And so I hired a tapping coach, committed to 6 months, once a week, and worked a lot on relationship stuff, worked a lot on a whole bunch of stuff, but the relationship stuff is sort of what's the most obvious, I think. So about a year ago, I started becoming more open to the idea of dating, and started going out on a few dates, and I met a really great guy, and we've been together for 10 months now, and it's probably actually the first relationship in my whole life where I've really felt loved and valued. And
I love it.
Yeah, so it's and I just know that if I hadn't have done all that work with tapping, I would have never
been ready for it.
Yeah, I would have never got to the place where I was, open to being vulnerable again, and to just putting myself out there, and yeah, just being willing to go through what it takes to have a relationship. And
how do you think that affects you as a practitioner?
I think it helps me to relate to people, especially people that have been in similar situations. And I guess just knowing what's possible for people, like, just the experience I had of like just chipping away at the layers, layer after layer after layer. Like it was a big issue with many, many, many layers. And it wasn't an overnight thing for sure. I didn't go from one to the other place overnight. It was a lot of work through many layers. Yeah. Just having that experience of working through those layers, I think, just really, really helped me to help help other people go through the layers, and to help them understand that that's what's happening. And yeah.
And does your new partner, boyfriend, whatever the word is you use, does he let you tap on him? How does that go?
He's very supportive in what I do. He has tried to do some tapping, and he knows that he has a resistance to it. We were going to actually tap on his resistance to it. We haven't done that yet. We're going to soon. But just, I wanted to experiment with something, and I wanted to kind of show him the power of tapping. So I had him tell me about a memory of a situation, like a memory from his previous marriage that still triggers some intensity for him. So he told me about the situation, described it in as much detail as he could, and he was, when we rated his SUDS, he was at about a 7 or 8. So it was still something that had a lot of intensity for him. And so I did ask him if he was okay if I tapped on it for him, and he said sure. I don't think he thought much of it. And then so I did some tapping on it, just actually only one time. I had intentions of tapping on it more times, but I did tapping on it one time, maybe 10-15 minutes. And a few days later, we were together, and I just, out of curiosity, thought I would ask him. So I just, asked him to bring up that memory in his mind and let me know if it had shifted at all, if there, where the SUDS was at. And I sat there watching him search, like I could visually actually see him searching for the emotions, and there was nothing left. There was no emotion attached to that memory at all. And he had a bit of a hard time accepting that, like, because I guess because he hadn't actually done the tapping himself.
Right. So you took them from A to Z, right? You took them from like tapping works to I can tap from over here and tapping works. Like,
yeah. Yeah, so it was a good, and it was good for me to have that experience where I could actually see the results of surrogate tapping for somebody.
Love
yeah,
it.
it was really neat experience.
Well, thanks for sharing it.
You're welcome. I'm
excited about you being a certified practitioner now out there helping people.
I am too. I'm really excited. I know how much it's helped me, and every time I work with somebody and I see shifts and changes, it makes me so excited. It's
magic.
Such an incredible tool and so simple, and yeah, it's just it still amazes me every time I see these shifts and feel the shifts in myself. But it still amazes me, and I think, like, how can something so simple be so effective? Yeah. But it is. I don't question it. I just am amazed all the time. I just love it.
I'm the same way. I'm almost 20 years into this, and I'm still amazed when I watch it happen. I'm like, yeah. Cool. Every time.
Yeah. Just want to share it with the world, and yeah, I just think that if everybody tapped,
what a better world it would be.
What a better world it would be.
Thanks, Vicki.
Welcome. Thank you.
Go make the world better. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.